Understanding death. No one dies, therefore do not grieve. Hello everyone, I am Pulkit Mathur, founder of The Spiritual Bee, and in this final video of our three-part series on understanding death, we shall visit the last two of the 12 key truths about death that have been outlined by the rishis of Advait Vedanta. These last two truths together emphasize the importance of maintaining balance and equanimity, that is, equilibrium of mind at the time of someone's passing. So the 11th truth to understand about death is that since no one really dies, since death is only for the physical body and not for the soul, and since at the time of death the soul merely discards the outer gross physical body and journeys on clothed in the inner subtle body, therefore knowing all these truths, a wise person does not grieve excessively at someone's passing. There is nothing to grieve about, as death means only passing over to another country, to which you probably go very often when you're asleep. Of course, that is the real fact. Death is only a shedding of the body, not a cessation of the personal existence. A man is not dead because he goes into another country and changes his clothes to suit that climate. Sri Aurobindo in his book Letters on Yoga 1. The wise grieve neither for the living nor for the dead. It is not that at any time in the past was I not, nor were you not, nor shall we all ever cease to be hereafter. Beings unmanifest in the beginning and unmanifest again in the end seem to be manifest in the middle. Then what is there to grieve about? Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verses 11, 12 and 28 as translated by Swami Chinmayananda. Now the reason for not grieving excessively at a loved one's passing is because grief too long continued causes enormous distress to the departed. Seeing their relatives grieve inconsolably, the departed feel utterly helpless, unable to do anything to better the situation for their anguished relatives. On account of this worried and tormented state of mind, they find it difficult to fall into a restful sleep in the afterlife. For this reason, the rishis teach that the psychological and spiritual welfare of the departed must always be kept uppermost in our mind, and with this view we must try to bear our loss with courage, calmness and equanimity of mind. This is the 12th truth about death that we must realize, and it has been detailed by Sri Aurobindo in two separate letters of consolation that he wrote to grieving sadhaks. In the first letter, Sri Aurobindo wrote, I can understand the shock your wife's catastrophic death must have been to you. But you're now a seeker and sadhak of the truth, and you must set your mind above the normal reactions of the human being and see things in a larger, greater light. Regard your lost wife as a soul that was progressing through the vicissitudes, meaning the difficulties of the life of ignorance like all others here. In that progress, things happen that seem unfortunate to the human mind, and a sudden accidental or violent death, cutting short prematurely this always brief spell of terrestrial experience we call life, seems especially painful and unfortunate. But one who gets behind the outward view knows that all that happens in the progress of the soul has its meaning, its necessity, its place in the series of experiences which are leading it towards the turning point where one can pass from the ignorance to the light. He knows that whatever happens in the divine providence is for the best, even though it may seem to the mind otherwise. Look on your wife as a soul that has passed the barrier between two states of existence. Help her journey towards her place of rest by calm thoughts and call to the divine help to aid her upon it. Grief too long continued does not help but delays the journey of the departed soul to the state of mental peace and rest. Sorrow and mourning for the dead impede its progress by keeping it tied to the earth atmosphere and pulling it back from its passage. Do not brood on your loss but think only of her spiritual welfare. Sri Aurobindo in Letters on Yoga 1. In the second message to a different sadhak, Sri Aurobindo wrote, the telegram announces the passing away of your husband. All has been done that could be done to keep him in life. What has happened must now be accepted calmly as the thing decreed and best for his soul's progress from life to life, though not the best in human eyes which look only at the present and at outside appearance. For the spiritual seeker, death is only a passage from one form of life to another, and none is dead but only departed. Look at it as that, and shaking from you all reactions of vital grief, meaning emotional grief, as they cannot help him in his journey to a state of mental peace and calm, pursue steadfastly the path to the divine. Sri Aurobindo in Letters on Yoga 1. With this wisdom-filled advice from Sri Aurobindo, we reach the end of our 3-part series on understanding death. As always, thanks for watching and we shall meet again in the next video.